So, what if I told you that one of the absolute most advanced anti-inflammatory medicines out there isn't new at all, but is actually 4,000 years old? We tend to think of medical advancement as this straight line from primitive to modern. But as a researcher digging into this data, it's honestly fascinating to see how ancient wisdom might literally hold the keys to unlocking massive cellular regeneration today. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the anti-inflammatory power of frankincense and myrrh. By putting clinical data, peer-reviewed studies, and historical sources side by side, we're going to explore how modern science is validating these ancient resins as incredibly potent, natural alternatives to traditional pharmaceuticals. Here's our quick roadmap for today's analysis. We'll be covering 1. Ancient roots and modern science. 2. Stopping cellular oxidative damage. 3. Trusted by doctors and patients. 4. A beginner's daily wellness guide. And finally, 5. Saving money, reclaiming health. Let's get right into it. All right, starting off with Section 1, Ancient Roots, Modern Science, where we trace the historical evolution of healing resins. The data sets up this really amazing contrast. On one side, we've got a 4,000-year-old biblical tradition where frankincense and myrrh were prized right alongside solid gold, acting as the go-to principal medicines for ancient empires. And on the other side, we have modern scientific analysis classifying these exact same things under the Boswellia and Commiphora plant species, proving they actually yield incredibly potent pharmacological compounds. And listen, this connection is heavily documented in clinical literature. For example, the peer-reviewed Journal of Oleoscience explicitly points out that these resins have been recognized in treating inflammatory conditions and wound healing literally since the beginning of written history. So modern science is really just catching up to this ancient tradition. Moving right along to Section 2, Stopping cellular oxidative damage. Let's look at the actual clinical mechanics of how this inflammation relief works. If we zoom way into the molecular level, we can see the chemical structure of isolated furanoso-sesquiterpenoids. I know, it's a mouthful. But specifically, we're talking about compounds like furanodienone, which are extracted from myrrh. Researchers using bioassay-guided isolation have pinpointed these specific structures as super potent free radical scavengers. The sources broadly define these active ingredients as terpenoids. Here's how it works. When your body is inflamed, your macrophages produce this massive oxidative burst of nitric oxide, which causes all sorts of cellular damage. The data shows that these terpenoids actively block that nitric oxide production. It's basically like turning off the inflammation faucet right at the source. And it gets better. The research outlines a synergistic reduction of inflammatory cytokines when you combine these two resins. Basically, they team up and multiply each other's effects, downregulating the body's MAKP inflammation pathway. In fact, the source material highlights a live blood analysis study by Dr. Wendy Roscoe. She used a blend called Oil of Elijah, and her findings actually captured damaged cells being restored to their proper shape and charge just 30 minutes after application. 30 minutes. Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually get these compounds into our system? The sources use a perfect, simple analogy. The skin is a sponge. When these resins are infused into a carrier oil and applied topically, it creates a direct highway. It completely bypasses your digestive tract and lets the skin absorb those powerful terpenoids directly into your bloodstream. Okay, Section 3, Trusted by doctors and patients. Let's breach that clinical data with some real-life human impact. So, what are the medical professionals saying? The source materials feature holistic practitioners like Dr. Brian Ardis and Dr. Henry Ely, who actually use these specific infused resins in their routine patient care. According to the literature, these formulations are viewed as an entirely new healing class, used as primary therapeutics to flat-out replace certain over-the-counter and prescription medications. We even see this trusted in really extreme, severe use cases. Take Dr. Carrie Magi, an internal medicine doctor. Her testimonial from the source materials is incredible. She reported using a maximum strength oil blend to manage her pain and speed up her recovery following severe injuries and emergency surgery from an actual plane crash. But it's not just for extreme emergencies. Everyday patients are reporting amazing outcomes too. One person who suffered a severe hot water burn said the oil literally took the pain away in minutes, and their skin never felt painful again during the whole healing process. The data is full of similar reports from people successfully managing chronic arthritis and severe wounds. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, a beginner's daily wellness guide. Let's talk practical steps for natural healing right at home. The sources outline this really simple two-step holistic approach. Step 1 focuses on the emotional or spiritual side. You just apply a few drops to your hands or forehead, maybe during prayer, to promote a sense of calm. Step 2 is the physical application, gently massaging the oil directly into sore joints, wounds, or problem skin areas to deliver those anti-inflammatory compounds right where you need them. Now, the materials categorize these specific oils by strength. You've got gentle formulas, like Face It FX1, which you can easily integrate into your daily skincare routine for things like acne and aging. Then there are maximum strength options like Curate RX8 for severe wounds, and ultimate strength blends like the Oil of Elijah for chronic pain. And a cool tip from the sources, you can actually dilute those ultimate strength blends with regular olive oil at home to make them last a whole lot longer. Let's wrap up with Section 5, saving money, reclaiming health, looking at the broader socioeconomic benefits of these natural alternatives. The source material makes a really compelling socioeconomic argument here. By equipping your household with these natural first aid oils, users are reportedly completely bypassing the traditional medical system. We are talking about immediate, tangible benefits, eliminating over-the-counter drug purchases, reducing those super costly emergency room visits, avoiding pharmaceutical copays, and just skipping urgent care appointments altogether. To put that financial reality into perspective, the materials state that users are saving hundreds, and in cases of chronic illness, literally tens of thousands of dollars every single year, just by shifting away from conventional therapies to these natural resins. The ultimate takeaway from the sources is all about empowerment. By becoming the first responder for your own family and using products that are effective, natural, and biblically correct, you effectively bypass the pharmaceutical industry. And the result? You recapture those massive healthcare funds. You keep them in your own household, you redirect them to your local economy, and you can support your church. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We've seen the historical reverence, the amazing cellular validation, and the real-life clinical outcomes. If modern science validates that these 4,000-year-old resins actively stop cellular oxidative damage, isn't it time we reconsider our reliance on modern synthetics and bring this ancient healing back into our homes? It is definitely something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.